All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestling Tonight. I am your humble hardcore host, Mad Dog Butch. Joining me as always, the Detroit Demolition to my Lord Humongous, none other than Brace Beemer.
Yeah. I had to wind that one up. It's been a while.
And our very, very special guest joining us once again for our 1-year anniversary show. He was our very first guest on Wrestling Tonight. None other than Michigan professional wrestling legend, the pretty boy redneck, Levi Blue.
You're pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel to bring me back here.
No way. No way.
First class all the way.
So before we get started, we always like to present our guests a gift. And I will say this, a lot of times I just go through my personal collection and try to find stuff. I couldn't really find any cool wrestling stuff that I thought you would like, so I got you a little bit something different, but I think it is right up your alley. And it is the Freddy Rags exclusive Garbage Pail Kid Freddy Rags Freddy t-shirt.
Oh, dude, that is cool.
I've never worn it. So
Yeah, it's still got all the
Just
creases in it.
yeah.
Well,
So
that's cool.
thank you for being back.
Appreciate it. I'm going to show you something, though.
And,
Okay.
and it has
Camera's
blood on
gonna
it,
pick up.
too.
But your very first show, I still got it. You handed me a Ted DiBiase, Money Isn't Everything is the Only Thing money clip.
Nice.
Yes.
And
Yes, I did.
still carry it
You still carry
around
it
with me. So, I mean,
That's cool.
I
Do you
carry it
use
in
it?
my wallet, but it holds my business cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, it's pretty empty there.
I mean, well, I got
Oh,
four
okay.
whopping bucks. You know?
That's more than I got.
He was mugged on the way over.
Beer money.
The mean streets of Lake Orion got him.
Right.
Yeah.
Get a cop in the dog park across the street.
So unofficially, I am calling the year 2019 the year of the comeback for old dudes. Because,
Okay.
hey, I'm included. I mean, we're older than you.
I'm a young whippersnapper.
So I'm including us in that. We made a comeback on this show.
Yeah.
The last time you were on here, your future seemed a little uncertain, but you've been tearing it up lately. On what you have? I mean, you. So, how does that happen?
Be a little braggadocious.
I mean, when you're ready to get back in the ring. I mean, how does that work? Do the promoters call you, or do you call them and tell them that you're in good enough shape to get back, or what? How does that normally go?
Well, that would have been a lie if I would have said something like that. But, what wound up happening is I think we were talking about it maybe the first time I was here. By the way, congratulations on a year, you guys.
Thank you.
Going in here.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. And you set the tone for us the very first show. We couldn't have had a better first guest. So
I appreciate that. XICW, they were doing their Wrestling with a Vet, and the promoter, Malcolm Monroe, got a hold of me and asked me if I wanted to get back in the ring again. And I don't know if you guys are real familiar with the Wrestling with the Vet series, but it's actually a very cool concept.
We talked about it a little bit last time.
Right.
But,
Well, anyway, I picked up a partner in a guy by the name of Billy Ray Daniels. He was my rookie. And we won the whole thing. Okay, we won the Wrestling with the Vet Season 5.
okay.
Yeah, which was pretty cool. But during that time, that particular promotion, that particular show, Wrestling with a Vet, it kind of it got some mainstream attention. And next thing you know, Billy Ray and I are getting booked like every weekend. And which for him was good, but for me and my body and my sanity, not so good. Let's just say some personal issues came into play, and I had to step back pretty much last year.
Okay.
Well, you shouldn't be so mean and care so much about your sport then.
Well, it was just personally. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. My son decided to join the military.
Right.
So he graduated. We dealt with that. And,
Nice.
my daughter, she's moved out, and she's got a pretty steady boyfriend. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, some personal issues on top of, is what we like to call in the business a shoot job got in the way.
Right.
So, but, promoters, they still like to bring us old guys in because, we know how to work it old school. These kids nowadays, they're going to go out there, for lack of a better term, kill themselves for a hot dog and a handshake. And it's like, they want us to kind of teach them a little bit. So,
okay. Not to get right off topic, we'll get back to this, but I just sent him something yesterday, going off of what you just said about that. Chris Jericho was on an interview with somebody, and he was talking about how he had to train the AEW guys how to have tag team matches. He specifically kind of mentioned the Lucha Brothers. They're saying that that's how they do it. Lucha style is just don't make a tag, just come in. And that is part of it. I know a part of Lucha before, at least. I don't really follow it like I used to, but, when they would go outside of the ring, then that meant the other guy could go in the ring.
Oh, I thought they still had the tag.
Nope.
Not as far as that rule goes.
Oh, maybe that was a long time ago.
Still a rule, but not just those guys. Other guys, he was talking about how. What did he say? He said, you're
burying the referee.
referee.
Yeah, near and dear to my heart
stuff.
there.
Yeah,
because I've seen that throughout the indies. People just don't know how to do the tags anymore. How to distract a referee. You know.
And that was actually kind of pointed out to Billy Ray and I because we came up with this move. It was like a double knee strike, double hammer, take the guy, flip him around, twist him, throw him into a neck breaker, and the referee's just standing there going, and I'm like, we should probably be distracting this referee because we're going to get disqualified here pretty soon. So, yeah.
Has anybody ever done that to you? Did the old disqualification or a pinfall when you maybe didn't kick out or you were kind of negligent on the rules and the referee really run you up?
From a competent referee, no, that's never happened to me. I'll make a quick story, and I don't mind calling out the promotion because it's since passed on, but I was doing a show for MCW Wrestling in Montrose.
Yeah, I remember those guys.
It was a good show, but the promoters, God bless their hearts, they would try to put everyone in the ring. And you know what you mean when God bless your heart. You know what I'm saying? Those idiots. But
bless their
heart. My buddy Jim, I love him to death, and no, that's no slam on him. I do love him to death. He decided to put his drunk buddy in the ring as a referee. Well, the referee doesn't know how the business works. And old Levi here, I won the Four Corners Texas Tornado Bow Rope match, so to speak. And when I hit the fourth turnbuckle, slapped the top of the turnbuckle, he wouldn't ring the bell. And I said, "You need to ring the bell." He's like, "No, you cheated. I'm not ringing the bell." And
hey, that's all referees should be.
Yeah, well, I called him a few names. I'm like, "Look, I won the match," and he decided he was going to swing down on me.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And he did. And I took him down and started choking him out before the promoter come out and saved him.
Wow.
But from a competent referee, no, that's never really happened to me.
Is that a bowling alley show? The one behind or was that a different spot?
I think that was the bowling alley show.
Because I worked one of those, and I was trying to remember if because I think you were singles on that one, running around.
Yeah, it was. That was against, I almost said Brickhouse Brown.
No, back then, that match was against Stephen Blade. What you're thinking of is the triple threat match I had with Roughhouse Rob and DBA, and we brought out the pickup truck.
That's the one I was thinking.
Yes.
You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I worked that one. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, that was, I think, the second year. So the first year is when we had a little issue with the referee. So
the pickup truck, that was great. I still have that on tape.
Yeah, I see it on YouTube. It pops up once in a while, which kind of surprises me because, God, that was 10, 12 years ago probably.
Yeah.
So
2007, I believe, or 2008.
So
I can't believe it was that long. I don't. Time just is flying by.
Hence the old guy concept of this show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
No old guy stuff.
Because
I'm not playing.
No, for real though. I mean, it's been close
yeah.
close to 20 years since we did our show back in the day. A couple other. I mean, we'll get into it later with some of the other like big comebacks of the year. I did want to mention real quick just a couple pro wrestling deaths in the last couple weeks. Rene Goulet and Moondog Rex. And I was thinking about Randy Colley and what a strange career he sort of had. I mean,
Oh, I didn't know he passed.
yeah,
Both of them.
he I mean he was Moondog Rex for a long time. He was the initial Smash in Demolition.
Yeah.
Then when everybody realized who he was and they decided they needed somebody else to be Smash, he goes to Continental as Detroit Demolition, who I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Goes
comeback around.
back
I like
to
it.
WCW in the 90s and actually gets somewhat of a push. I mean, really, at that point, there was no reason for them to. And then I think later, wasn't he one of the like the outlaw guys that they had with it was like Black Bart. They were the Desperados. That they were doing like the backstage.
Oh, I remember.
I think
that.
I think he was one
Was
of
he
them.
part of that?
I could be
can't
wrong.
remember that.
I could be wrong. I think it was Dutch Mantel, Black Bart, and him. But I could be wrong. But either way, I was like, because I was looking up matches of him, and I was like, well, that's weird. He was still getting somewhat of a push in WCW in the early '90s when basically he got buried at the end of his WWF career as a Moondog. I mean, they kind of both did at the end. But anyway, I wanted to mention that. And one thing that
Yeah, he's a good worker.
that I
you know?
neglected to ask you last time you were here that I wanted to get into was I don't know if you'd even be able to do it, but how many titles have you won?
Oh wow.
And you're also a multiple time Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
How many? I think I did ask you that, but how many Hall of Fames are you in now?
I'm in 5.
Okay. Do you even remember like how many titles you've held?
No.
Okay.
I mean, the very first title I held would have been probably right around 96, 97. Like right after I broke into the business. I was in the business about 4 or 5 months, and I took the light heavyweight title, ICW light heavyweight title off of a guy named APOC, and
Okay.
that was at the Lincoln Park Community Center. So
okay.
that was a long time ago. So,
All right.
and then from there, I don't know. I've had a lot of tag team partners, so multiple tag team titles.
Yeah.
I've only had one heavyweight. Well, no, I take that back. I've had 2 heavyweight title runs, but
Okay.
generally most of my titles have either been like some sort of hardcore belt or a tag team
Yeah.
belt. Because when you're only 5'7", and you're wrestling guys who are like 6'6", 300, 400 pounds, you don't got much of a shot at a heavyweight title. And don't bring up Rey Mysterio.
What about Superstar Bill Dundee? You know?
Well,
I mean, there are exceptions to the rules.
right.
Yeah.
But so going back to the Billy Ray Daniels thing. So you guys were, so they were booking you guys as a tag team,
Correct.
for a while. But so when they were doing that, were you guys still doing kind of like the mentor student type deal, or no?
Like shoot style? Yeah.
No, just
I mean,
no,
shoot style.
you know,
He would call me up at home and, hey, Levi, I did this interview or I did this promo. Would you watch it for me? And
Okay.
tell me why I did. Or he works singles matches up in Bay City for UCW,
Okay.
and he had me watch his matches. And
Is that Rudy Hill?
no, that is Brian Madej and the Brooklyn Brawler, and I believe Johnny Bravo.
Okay.
There.
Oh, really?
Johnny Bravo from Impact, yeah. And so he would call me up and say, what could I do different, this, that, and the other. So, it's really cool to me when, young guys ask me, to watch their matches, critique their matches and whatnot. So
Okay. Now you guys eventually did have a falling out, though, correct?
we did. After I split from him, it would have been pretty close to the beginning of the year. He went off on his own. He wasn't finding too much success in XICW like he was when he was teaming with me. So a couple months ago, I went to a show and he called me out, and basically I made him look like a turd, after they handed me the microphone, because he was basically saying that I left him stranded, and, he can't win a match without me there. So, it was one of those things where, well, I guess I really was carrying you, And you want to know why I've been gone? And I explained to him the situation with my daughter and my son. And I got in the ring, and I mean, it was one of those things where at the end of the match, I hit him with the power driver, I pinned him. He got up, which I was shocked. I went to shake his hand, and he looked at me kind of funny, so I dropped him. So,
As you should.
As
you should.
I mean, I was already drunk and ticked off anyway. So, I was wearing my dad's shoes. Velcro shoes. That's what I was wearing.
You're just like, you came out of the crowd.
Yeah, I was sitting with Kim Buckman, who's a great photographer.
Yes.
Just,
Yeah.
talking over some old times with her. And next thing you know, Billy Ray's in there calling me out. And so, far be it from me to step down from a fight.
Well, okay. We were at your the Fowler Pro Wrestling show that was here a month or so ago.
Oh, yeah.
In Lake Orion. Billy Ray Daniels was on that show as well. I was kind of thinking, and they had not announced who you were gonna wrestle that
Right.
night. So I was kind of thinking it was gonna be him, but then it ended up you and DBA and
Devil's right hand.
right.
Fact of the matter is, I've already beat up Billy Ray Daniels.
Okay.
That's water
So-
under the bridge.
Yeah,
he
it's
can
over
go do
now,
his
huh?
thing. They asked me if I wanted to wrestle DBA, and everybody knows DBA is my trainer. Him and his father are my trainer.
Mhm.
Absolutely, because I've never beat him one-on-one. So I wanted to have the match with him. And then they were like, okay, well, by the way, we're putting the Devil's right hand in there with you. Well, who the hell is the Devil's right hand? And this guy comes out, and yeah, it was a fun match. I mean,
Yeah.
lots of punches and kicks, and this is awesome chant when the kids in the matches before us were killing themselves for that proverbial hot dog and handshake, and people were sitting on their hands. So take a
Right,
lesson
right.
from the old guys, you youngsters.
Well, you say that though, but really, how like Rock and Roll Express or NWA Tag Champs? Who is the other guy that just won the belt?
Yeah, PCO
Yep.
in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that's Pierre Carl Ouellet.
Ouellet, yeah.
But traditionally,
I'll just throw one more out there that made a comeback this year, and that is referee extraordinaire Randy Schilling. Randy Sabretooth Schilling.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. He moved down south, but he's reffing down there too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. He's a great referee.
Well,
He is.
the thing of it is guys like the Rock and Roll Express and PCO, they're learning from the young guys, just like they're learning from the old guys.
Sure.
You and I were talking, and you were going to ask me a question. I think this is a good jumping off point if I could go there.
Yeah.
About how the business has changed.
Yeah.
Okay. When I started, let's just face it, let's break a little fame. I'm sure you do here anyway, right? Back then it was about telling a story.
Right.
Sure.
It was about getting your opponent over, telling a story, getting the show over.
Yeah.
And, in this business, you're taught, from the opening match to the final match as to, the pecking order, so to speak, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age now, it's all about getting yourself over. It's about getting your stuff in. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm not gonna,
You could say it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, as the boys would say, it's about getting your shit in.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's about in this day and age, and I'm going to keep using that term. It's about going viral. It's about that moment, that one special moment in time, that's going to take you to that next level, to get you all those hits on YouTube, to get you all those hits on Facebook,
To get you put on trash baggers. Right.
to get anything that's going to make you go viral. Now look at Ricky Morton. What's he doing? He's doing that flipping pile driver.
I'm going to bring that up later. But
The Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah.
PCO is coming off the top rope like he's 20 years or old. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? These guys are learning from these young guys. Just like these young guys, while it might not seem like, they're telling the story, look at what's his name? Orange Cassidy.
yeah.
The kid isn't killing himself. He's going out there. He's getting a ton of heat for putting his hands in his pocket.
Yes.
I myself, I'll say it right now. He's one of my favorite workers out there.
I'm pretty old school. Not I was never a big fan of like over the top comedy stuff. I think I've softened my stance over the years, but I got to agree with you because he gets trashed pretty good by a lot of people. A lot of people were upset that he even went into that AEW even signed him because they were saying they were going to be different and do it this way and that way and whatever. But I think he's hilarious.
Right.
I've seen a lot of his matches and I do find him highly entertaining.
And to me, these young guys, and I've said it on my blogs on blog. Man, that's an old term, isn't it? I've said it on my Facebook. These guys, it's what's called the Howard Stern syndrome. Okay, so let's look at Joey Ryan. Everyone gets pissed off because of his dick flips, right?
Yeah.
So the people who hate Joey Ryan, they're going to watch Joey Ryan so they can complain about Joey Ryan the next day. The people that love Joey Ryan, they're going to watch Joey Ryan so they can talk about him the next day.
Right.
As long as they're talking about you, I don't care if it's good, bad, or otherwise, you're getting over. And that's what this business is about now, is getting your shit in.
Yeah, but that's like a long-term kill, though. I mean, it's kind of like you cut a good promo and then the bell rings.
Well, I mean, my promo isn't going to take me to Japan.
Right.
But look at Joey Ryan. Look at Orange Cassidy. Look at these guys. They're doing what they need to do. And that's what the internet is for now.
I mean, let's even throw this out there. And not that he's going to get signed in Japan, but who knows? Let's even talk about Superhuman and what he's doing.
Okay, well, see, I kind of got the inside scoop on Superhuman.
Okay.
I don't even know that guy.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go for it.
Well, okay, this is what he does. He does pretty much the same thing. He just does he'll set up like a hardcore type of thing. Like let's say he'll throw like barbed wire and thumbtacks on the ground or whatever, just like a everyday household.
And he takes 5 minutes to do it.
No, he's in his backyard. He's like some little kid in his backyard. Well, he looks like a little kid. So he says every time, he pretty much says the same thing, that he's going to do this move. You probably know better than me.
This is for all my juggalos and juggalettes. Don't try us at home, and I hope you like it. Whoop, whoop.
And then F this S.
Yep.
And then he'll like jump off and be like, and acting like he's dead.
Yeah.
Well, that has eventually got him signed to, well, not signed, but he's working some independents.
That's
working
unbelievable.
He's working. Well, let me ask you this question though. Okay, was Snooki trained?
No, there's a lot of people.
She had some training though.
Yeah.
I mean, they trained her somewhat before the match.
There's a lot of people that in the
Was
business.
Jay Leno trained?
Again, somewhat.
Some.
Okay. What does Jay Leno, Snooki, and Superhuman all have in common?
Well, they get people to watch.
They get people to watch.
Yeah.
Superhuman has like 750,000 people. Of course, I put this on my Facebook too because.
Well, I agree with you here.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got 750,000 people that watch his videos, that follow him on Twitter, and watch him on Facebook.
Huh.
He's being picked up by local promotions in Florida. If Alex Red is listening, what's up, Alex? He's the promoter and owner of Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling out of Florida. And him and I had a conversation. And I commended him for booking Superhuman. Because let's face it, workers can complain about Superhuman all they want. What are workers doing to get themselves 750,000 viewers?
Yeah, a lot of truth to that.
yes.
Yeah.
If you go to an indie show at a high school, what do you see? A gym teacher,
Yes.
a teacher, maybe
Right.
a local politician in the ring doing a spot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's go back to Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, exactly. So I talked with Alex Red, and he said that his shows are selling out.
Because of that kid.
Because that kid, he's got people coming in from as far away, I believe he said as Maine, flying in
You got to be kidding.
specifically to see these shows with Superhuman on them. He is selling his shows out because this kid is an internet celebrity.
Huh.
If workers push themselves as hard as Superhuman does, and were able to promote themselves as hard as Superhuman does, they're going to get booked. They're going to earn that spot.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of guys will sit there and go, well, I don't understand why I'm not getting booked. I don't know why he's getting this spot instead of me. Get 750,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Start selling out shows. Start putting asses in seats and make yourself valuable, and you're going to get booked.
Right. And it's not like, it's not like they're like having them, they're having them do what, he can do. I mean, right now.
All right.
And-
Well,
So is he
I'll
just
let you in
doing
on a little
spots, or-
inside information.
Okay.
He's currently being trained at Atomic Revolutionary
Oh,
Wrestling.
I hope
Okay.
so.
So,
Yeah.
he wasn't
So-
previous when they first brought him in, but they're getting him in there before shows, and they're working with the kid. So you heard it here first.
Okay. Now I'm gonna try to tread lightly here, but
Why?
Well-
Well, let me cuss this whole time.
well, you know, when you first started talking about Superhuman on your Facebook page, I believe it was you anyway. I mean, you were trying to figure out if it was just all shtick or what. I mean, almost to the point where I'm pretty sure you were asking this question. It could have been somebody else, but either way, even if it was somebody else, the question has been asked if he really is maybe sort of special needs.
Oh, yeah, I've said that too myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I had seen it on yours.
Yeah.
So is that all a shtick, do you think, or is there maybe some slight brain damage at this point, or something?
We all got a bit of brain damage. Fact of the matter is, I've gone onto this kid's Facebook, and I'm like, I really want to hear what your parents got to say about what you're doing.
Okay.
I want to hear how proud they are of you, and this, that, and the other. And the kid, one day, he really ripped into me. I mean, you think I'm cussing that guy? He's got a mouth on him that would make me blush.
So he's actually a kid. I mean, he's not like a
think-
Marco stunt guy.
I think he's mentally
where
a kid.
you think he really is.
Yeah, I really do.
But okay, I will say this: from the matches that I have seen, I mean, it's him, but still, it doesn't look that bad. It didn't look that bad to me. And then he's got his friend in the mask.
Good friend Paul.
Good friend Paul getting involved in the matches as well.
But if you watch what he's
I was
doing-
watching it, expecting it to be a total cluster train wreck, and it really was not.
But if you watch what they're doing, and this goes to promoters and booking agents, they are really limiting what he does in the ring. A lot of stuff that he's doing.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean,
stunner
he's doing what he can do,
or an
but
elbow. I watched him do an elbow off the middle rope to the floor onto a table, and he bounced off the table because he couldn't break the table. you
okay.
know. Some promoters are letting him do what he wants to do, I think. But, like Alex Red, he's really limiting what he's doing for this kid. But in the same time, Alex Red is profiting from this kid, which to me, great. If you're booking this kid legitimately and you're paying him to do the show and he's putting butts in seats, by God, book this man.
Hopefully they're paying the kid all right then.
I'm sure he is. Either that or, who knows? Maybe they trading off with some wrestling training for
Maybe.
who knows?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah, right.
So,
As long as Dynamite Kid, as long as he's not on the bus with Dynamite Kid throwing his money out the window. Going back, and I wanted to mention this when you were talking about everybody trying to get their stuff in, and that's one thing that I never got back in the old days. If somebody gave somebody their finisher and it didn't work on them, it didn't have any effect on them, and then later, whatever, they come and lose. That was, to me, that was a sign that later on down the road they're kind of being taken down the rungs a little bit. Specifically, like, let's say in WWF. So it never made any sense to me that guys that want to get that in, if they're not going to go over with their finisher, why would you want to do that to? I mean, I guess that's like an old school psychology thing.
well,
But-
I guess I could just say to you at this point now is, why don't you ask Jake the Snake Roberts that question?
Oh, well, that's why I was going to bring up. Well,
Man, I'm just cutting you off left and right. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I wasn't specifically going to bring that up, but I mentioned that I was going to bring up the Canadian Destroyer,
Okay.
and we'll wait on that some more. But yeah, the super kick, Chris Adams is probably rolling over in his grave right now.
Right.
Oh yeah,
The-
just
the-
the way they sell
the
the super
DDT,
kick now.
Everybody's doing the flip pile driver now, the moonsault. I mean, the moves that that you were dead, that would kill you back in the day,
Right.
are just used all the time throughout the match now.
Right. And, that's where, I said earlier, the young guys got to learn from the old guys, or their careers are going to be much shorter than, for God's sakes, look at Ric Flair. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to last 10 years in the business, let alone, 10 months if you keep trying to kill yourself,
Well, those guys, it used to be, and I think it still is. It's just not your prime. And I don't care what anybody says. Your prime as a wrestler, it's like 35, you're just starting to get it. Depending on how many matches you've had, but like 35 to 50, really 40 to 50 used to be the money where you really understood everything, And so when everybody says, it's a young man's game and whatever, for the most part, but you're really not going to make any money until you fully get it, until you hit that prime.
Well,
You can physically be at the top of your game when you're 25, 30, but up here where it all counts, no way.
Well, you're saying that, and the first person I'm thinking of right now is Jericho.
Yeah.
Look at him in AEW right now.
And
Look how
he's
much better
another
he
guy,
is.
and he's another guy that I would throw into the category of, older guy making a huge comeback this year.
Right.
Probably the biggest out of everybody that we mentioned, besides us three.
Well, really,
but-
the WWE, like all of their big time main eventers or whatever, they're all 40 or over.
Well, and that's why, these young kids are going out there. They want to be noticed. They want to be making those 6 and 7 figure, salaries. And, you keep going out there night after night, weekend after weekend, and, killing yourself. Literally killing yourself.
For this.
Right.
Yeah.
That one viral moment, I'm going to throw a name out there. Marcus Everett. Name ring a bell with you guys?
No.
Okay, Jim Cornette went absolutely nuts about this kid because he came off the top of a basketball backboard to try to put an elbow on a guy who was laying on a table. He completely overshot the table.
I know what you're talking about now.
Oh.
I didn't remember his name, but I saw it. Yes.
Completely overshot the table, bounced off the gym floor, and still wrestling to this day. He was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He's now using the
is
gimmick that
unbelievable.
he has the elbow of steel. Okay. He went viral.
Yes.
Nothing ever came of it.
Okay.
I seen him at a wrestling show here a few months back. He had a sign in the crowd promoting his real estate business.
Really?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
Did the guy get up after he missed?
They finished.
They
the
don't really
match.
show that in the clip.
Yeah.
That's out there. You've probably seen the clip. I probably sent it to you at some. That was what a year or so ago, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but that's the problem nowadays. These guys are trying to do these big, huge spots and trying to get noticed. But it's the guys like the Jerichos. It's the guys, who've been around that are the guys that are shining right now. Sure, you got the young bucks out there.
Yeah.
They went to Japan. They made a name for themselves over there. Kenny Omega,
I don't like those guys, man.
Huh?
I don't like Omega, the Young Bucks, those guys.
But
Just not my style. That's all.
I prefer psychology and storytelling, but I am impressed by what those guys do,
what they
and
can
I
do
do
is great,
enjoy
but
watching.
how long are they
Not
going to be able to do it
necessarily.
for?
Well, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Athletic is
you're
all.
doing that
And those
every
guys are all
match.
tough and athletic. It's just a different deal.
Yeah. Some of the stuff they do is insane. Really, if you think about it. But
now, let me say for the record, I'm not saying I don't like that type of wrestling because I love it. I absolutely love it.
that's
It's
what I'm saying. I
exciting,
do like to watch it,
but
it's not
as
my,
a worker myself, and I watch these guys out there killing themselves, I get concerned and I get worried. That how much
Yes.
longer are you going to be able to do this for? It's
I agree.
it's just one of those things where I put myself in their shoes, and I at 45 years old, I roll out of bed with a limp. When I get out of here today, I'm going to be walking out of here with a limp because I'm going to be sitting down for longer than an hour.
Yeah.
That's 20 plus years of wrestling. These
Right.
guys are 5 years of wrestling, and they're doing what I'm doing. They got the body of a 45-year-old, and 30 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you didn't do all the flips and everything,
I
You did some.
I
but,
broke out a flip on a rare occasion when I made it meant something.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
And
I did see you dive over the top rope quite a few times as well.
But it meant something then because people, for 15 years, Levi didn't do nothing like that. But much like PCO and much like, the Rock and Roll Express, I had to evolve a little bit so that, people would buy into me. In 20 years, a finishing move is going to be a shotgun blast to the face or a real grenade down the pants because there ain't going to be a finishing move that's going to hold a guy down because much like you said, a Canadian Destroyer or a DDT just isn't doing it anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Like when I was refereeing, I had to adjust what my expectations were about wrestling compared to, what certain people are. I mean, you do that anyway, but like the style was just completely different.
Right.
You're expecting somebody to be here and they're not. They're over here doing this when you're like, well, logically it should go this way. Oh, they don't do it that way anymore. So you just kind of adjust.
Right.
Now, we talked about this before the show started, but this was, I believe, your most recent match last Sunday. You returned to the Michigan Wrestling Organization to take on, I always call him Grizzly Bam for some reason, but it's Bam Grizzly, right?
Bam Grizzly. Actually, he just goes by the name of Backwoods Bam now.
Okay.
The hick from the sticks, yes.
Okay.
I still got people getting on my case about working for the MWO, but what I look at, what a lot of people don't see, is I see potential. And there's a lot of guys with loads of it who I want to help elevate them and get them on the path to doing things the right way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've always been like that as long as I've known you.
It's a curse and a blessing at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
Because I've seen guys like Dark Star Logan, who is now the Dread King Logan, who was just tearing it up on the indies. One of my students,
I've seen a little bit of
previously
his
trained by
recent stuff,
Briar
yeah.
Wellington, come to me. I gave him the spit and polish. He's out there just tearing it up right now. Billy Ray Daniels, he's still doing his thing. I love helping guys get to where they're at. Bam, on the other hand, let's go back to working it a little bit. He, as far as I'm concerned, stealing my gimmick a little bit. I'm the pretty boy
can see
redneck. He's the hick from the sticks, and
Well, that's old school wrestling. You get two rednecks that don't touch each other, and all of a sudden it's like, well, damn, now we got two rednecks against each other.
Right now,
what's going to happen?
If I could shoot straight with you, the kid's got so much untapped potential. There's an old saying that you can't teach charisma, and that's
Yeah,
100% accurate. And this kid has it by the bucket loads.
I agree.
Watching him in the ring, that's what made me want to work with him, really. And I had this match with him, and God, I know I keep jumping from kayfabe to shoot, but we were talking about it, and I'm like, look, I really want to tell this story about your head, because he's
Okay.
got the hardest head in professional wrestling. He's like, yeah, man, I have a hard time working with other guys, and they just don't get it, and I really want to learn these small things like that. And I kind of looked at him. I'm like, small thing, that's your whole damn gimmick. That's your head,
Yeah.
Start watching the Junkyard Dog and Missing Link.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and but we went out there, and the kid and I, we tore it up.
okay,
at
good.
the end of the match, though, he hit me with that damn head and put us both down for the 10 count. But you know the old saying, what's the best way to crack a walnut? You beat the shit out of it.
Do they ever get it?
And,
Like after you have a match where, there's not the constant, I call them flipping and flopping and, whatever. But do they get it when you're done with them that they don't have to do as much
Exactly.
to get a better reaction?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Good.
That's what happened. He kind of woke up a little bit. So he's, I haven't even talked to him about this, but Bam, if you're listening, I need you to give me a call because, kind of like big brother little thing. I kind of want to put you under my wing and help you out a little bit, get you up to that next level, bud.
Well, that's professional of you.
Yeah, he's a good
Old
good
school.
guy, and so that's what happened there. And just like you said, DBA, myself, and Devil's Right Hand at Fowler Pro, it was essentially a bunch of punch and kicks. Yeah, I mean, you guys were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened? The crowd was chanting, "This is awesome,"
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
the guys previous were killing each other.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love Bry Sullivan. I thank you, Bry, for having me on the show. But some of those guys weren't even working the crowd, and the crowd was just sitting on their hands. So,
Another thing about that, I remember we're talking about this watching, like you guys go into the crowd, right? You're going up the bleachers, putting the lumber into each other, and then like the next 3 matches, they did the same thing. Because I remember saying, Butch, man, if I were booking this thing, you would have like the first, like 4 or 5 matches, like all in the ring, nobody go out.
right.
Yes.
And then you guys go in, do your thing, and then nobody else does it the rest of the show.
That was Bry's first show.
Sure.
Promoting.
But a lot of
Velcro.
shows are like that. ECW was like that,
I mean,
so.
I don't want to bury the show. I thought it was.
Yeah, I'm
I thought it
I'm
was
not
very
burying it
good
either.
for.
Nope.
And I knew that it was his first show. I thought it was very good. I hope they come back. Do you have any inside info on if they are coming back or when they are coming back?
The spring, from what I understand, they're going to come back to the same place there in Lake Orion. Was it the recreation center or something?
Yeah, it
like
had
that?
some
Yeah.
long name. I don't remember like the whole thing.
But I tell you what, Brian, his father, and everything else, they put on a class act for us boys in the back, man. I mean,
Okay.
we had a catering spread that included everything from
Oh, really?
Firehouse subs to Buffalo
Nice.
Wild Wings, and I'm 260 pounds, and I'm looking at this food going, yeah, I'm going to tear this up, but wait. I gotta wrestle.
Right.
So we're gonna have. I could hear Vince McMahon in my head. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. No.
You have to make your own muffler too.
Oh, yeah. My muffler fell out.
A muffler is a contraption in case just for everybody. you
No,
know.
no. They don't need to know.
Yeah.
It'll come out sometime.
Yeah, look up Muffler
literally.
Pro Wrestling on your little.
Well, it
internet
was John
game.
Nord, right? I think it was John Nord and Dusty. John Nord's the one that told the story, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well,
Dusty-
go ahead and tell it.
Okay. A muffler is basically you don't want to eat at least a couple hours before you go into the ring, right? No matter what you're doing.
Right.
And if you do, you can have an accident and it can come out your backside,
Well, part of it too is if you're like a bigger guy,
Yeah.
you get the sweat
Yeah.
going down your crack.
Yeah.
That's why Dusty Rhodes definitely needed one.
Well, they had so they would take, toilet paper or paper towel and kind of roll it up in like this cone type shape and kind of shove it in there in case anything came out.
And they call it a muffler.
Almost like a diaper.
Levi, you seem like you know what we're talking about.
All right, staying out of that.
Okay, so we talked about XICW, we talked about MWO, we talked about Valor Pro. What other promotions have you worked for this past year? Any other ones?
Man, I
I know you have.
Oh yeah, Port Huron, Andrew Darcy's promotion out there. I was
Is that
at
Blue Water?
Blue Water Championship
Okay.
Wrestling. He runs a class deal out there. I mean,
Is that the same guy that's been running it for
He's been running it out there for a while. Right?
years?
Yeah.
and then coming up here, January 5th. If you guys don't mind me plugging a few shows,
Go for it.
Please do.
January 5th, XICW at the Hot Rock.
Okay.
We'll be there.
What town is that?
That would be Warren, Michigan, 24300 Hoover Road.
Is that the place they normally went?
That's where you did you ref a match there, or was that in Pontiac?
That was in Pontiac.
Okay.
That was boy, Pontiac. I got a bloody wreck in that one. I think you refereed.
Yeah,
that
that
match,
was.
didn't
I wish I had that.
I
on,
think that's the one I was thinking of. That was just you and Roughhouse Rob.
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking
I
of.
wish I
earlier.
had that on tape, man. That was the best hardcore match that I've seen.
Yeah, I remember Rob looking at me going, "Oh man, you are a mess.
I
We
was
gotta
selling
take you
the
home."
blood.
I'm
and
like,
all that.
You were
there was no selling for me because it was just coming out by the bucketfuls. I was in trouble.
I will say that the crowd, like, how you're doing it right is when they start to like believe, because there were points in that match where because I'm working the crowd too, right? And they were just like looking with this look on their face, like that it was.
Real?
Well, they allowed themselves to suspend disbelief, but they were looking at it just like, oh my God, because we're doing it like it's legit. I'm trying to hold Rob back while you're bleeding,
Yeah.
hold you back, checking him out and all that. That was good.
I don't remember a whole lot about that match, but I remember bleeding. So, but
I think we did have a few pops before that too. Maybe
I
not that
did-
one. I
I
know we
did.
did.
oh,
a
the fuzzy
couple.
brown sodas.
I think so.
I know I don't do that while I'm working. I might have one.
I was in the crowd.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't matter
That was a good show.
for me.
January 18th, I'm going to be making a debut at Blue Collar Championship Wrestling or Wrestling Association in Wyandotte.
Okay.
That's on January 18th. January 25th, I'll be at Live Pro Wrestling at Grizzly's Bar. It's the Holly Shagnon benefit show.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but it's Dread King Logan's wife, who's a very good friend of mine. And
I've heard that name before.
who Logan?
No, the Shagnon.
Oh, Well,
That's his.
What?
Anyway, Holly's got this. It's
Oh,
called.
my head.
Was it? I can't hardly say this word. It's trigeminal and they call it the suicide disease. What it is it affects her head and face, and it's like a very sharp, searing pain that she can't control.
Ooh.
And there's no cure for it.
Really?
And it's a very rare disease, and people will pick it up. That's
Okay.
why they call it the suicide disease. So we'll have a benefit for show for her.
Oh,
Where is that again?
That's going to be at Grizzly's Bar in Wyandotte.
well, that's
Okay.
nice.
That's You can see that event on my page as well.
Okay.
And then March 29th, which is going to be really cool. I know it's a ways out, but I really want to promote this one. It's going to be the XICW reunion show.
Oh, okay.
You were talking about old guys. Yeah,
Yes.
we're talking old guys. Back on XICW, we're talking old school hardcore blood and guts.
Okay, great.
That's going to be March 29th at the Hot Rock as well. And then I just found out, I believe it's February 9th, the MWO Bunkhouse Brawl at the Richfield Road Church.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
cool.
All right.
I like
I got a
the
little score to
MWO. They're more
settle
old school.
with Bam. So
Okay.
I want another round with that kid.
All right. Excellent. Excellent.
That's where you were in the Battle Royal. Was that Richfield?
I've shown up a few times
Yeah.
in different ones, but yeah, I was at
Fenton,
yeah,
weren't ya?
I was in I don't remember.
Yeah,
but,
that was at the church.
But I
one of
was
them.
in the last bunkhouse I think I was in was that one.
Yeah.
I've been in a couple of them and a couple battle royals too. Okay, now we are one of the things that we're going to go off in a little bit of a different direction here since it is the end of the year. One of the things that we used to like. I'll just say this. One of my favorite Pro Wrestling Illustrated issues back in the day was the Yearend Awards.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, unfortunately, I don't watch it a whole lot. I mean, I watch what I watch, and if I see like a buzz out there about a certain match that I need to watch, then I will check it out. I'm not sure. Well, you're in the same boat as me. You probably don't have a whole lot of time to keep up with all the different promotions that are going on, or do you? Do you get a chance to keep up with?
As far as mainstream wrestling?
Yeah, as far as everything going on.
Well, thank God for a DVR because I can fast forward all the talk crap.
Okay.
And get to the matches. I didn't watch this past pay-per-view, whatever it was for the WWE.
I only saw a little bit of it. It doesn't sound like you missed much or I missed much.
I love
From what I
NWA Power.
Yes.
That's kind of my go-to right now, and I follow that up with AEW, and then NXT followed by WWE.
Okay.
So
All right. So we're going to do our own year-end awards, or who you think would be deserving.
There's
of
no way I could do that. I don't think.
oof, yeah, this is gonna be tough.
So you guys don't even have a top wrestler of the year. I'll just throw mine out there. I think Chris Jericho would be the wrestler of the year, in my opinion. I just think at his age, his promos are one of the highlights of the week for me.
I'd have to disagree and go with Stardust.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
he'd be up there
Cody
too.
Cody has really made one hell of a transition from going from WWE to,
Yes.
AEW right now. I think it's tremendous.
Yeah.
Between him and John Moxley, who I wouldn't say necessarily wrestler of the year, but just the transition that he's made is something else to go from what he was to what he is now. So.
On that, did you guys ever see the old Dusty Rhodes interview where he looks just like Gold Dust or Stardust? He had his face painted up and everything.
Dusty did?
Yeah, 1981. It's out there on the internet somewhere because I just saw it, but I watch all the old Mid-South shows, and they were promoting him coming in, and he had this interview, and he looked just like his son Dustin, just like Gold Dust. He had his face painted black with like designs on it, and it's incredible.
But he was just regular Dusty Rhodes. They weren't calling him Stardust or anything.
He was like,
because I know he used to wear that T-shirt. I mean, that's kind of where they got the Cody's name from.
Yeah, he was still Dusty, but he was kind of going into this different Dusty type deal to get ready for a match against Flair. And then he was fighting, I can't remember who else it was in Mid-South, but he had his face painted like black, and he had these designs in it, and it looked just like like Dustin. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was he sounded like Dustin. It was kind of an off the wall interview. It wasn't his normal Dusty.
Well, the last time I watched AEW, Cody did a promo, and he is, I can't really say looking. Well, I mean, he is looking more like Dusty as he gets a little bit older.
Yeah.
I mean, he dyed his hair blonde, but he's sounding more like Dusty too, as far as his interviews go. I know when Dustin first came into wrestling, he kind of, he lisped, and I don't think he naturally has a lisp. I think Cody might have somewhat of one. I think he might be pushing it a little bit more than
It'd be hard not to.
Than
that's
he should,
all you heard, you know.
So you have nobody. So you don't have anybody for a wrestler of the year.
I would say, because I watched like a few of the NWA Power shows, and I agree. I think that's like, if there's anything on TV, like, that's me.
Okay.
Their champion, Aldis.
Nick Aldis.
Yeah,
he's doing a great job too.
He would be the guy.
Okay. Yeah. I totally. I mean, he would be up there. There's a couple other guys too that I could put up there. But,
even speaking to some of the older guys,
I'm still going with Jericho though. For my
the other guy that Aldis was feuding with, that guy was a teacher. He was 50.
You talking about Tim Storm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen a little bit of his stuff.
Yeah.
Hell with it, guys. Wrestler of the year, Marco Stunt. I'm saying it now.
That guy should be shot out of a cannon.
that who knows? That might be going on right now.
Yeah, that's a good spot, huh? Shoot him out from the balcony into the ring. Let him spear somebody.
Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah.
So who would be, if you have one, who would be your tag team of the year then?
You guys ain't gonna like what I got to say.
And it doesn't have to be the big leagues. It can be
Go for
it can be anybody.
Matt and Nick Jackson.
I don't know who they are.
I'll just tell you, I picked the Lucha Brothers. So
Lucha Bros are great too. Matt and Nick, you don't know who they are?
No.
The Young Bucks. It's the Young Bucks.
Okay. I still don't know who they are.
No, I mean, come on.
Bucks,
They've had some fantastic matches. I mean, whether it's your style or not, the stuff they've done, and against the Lucha Brothers, has been good stuff.
You know, that's the deal. Like, if they would just, sound like they slow down and just implement a little like psychology, it would help out so much.
Well, you don't believe the fact that Matt Jackson can double suplex two other guys when he's a $160 himself?
Yeah.
So.
Can we say that part has pretty much gone out the window?
Oh, yeah.
As far as little guys not being able to pick up big guys or bigger guys not being able to climb up to the top rope.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much out the window at this point.
Well, I mean, look at Luchasaurus, for God's sakes. I mean, that
Right.
guy's a monster. Well, he was on Big Brother.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that he was in WWE before either.
You know what? I just thought of this. What they used to do old school in the summertime, the kids get out and they'd bring in like the midget or little people wrestlers. They'd bring in the women and they would do a lot more like haha stuff. That's exactly what like the business has turned into. It's like all summer long, all year long.
The wrestling business started in the circus. It looks like it's ending in the circus.
Yeah.
So,
You got to have a tag team of the year. And it's your favorite tag team.
The War
The
Raiders.
Rock and Roll Express.
Exactly.
Yeah, easily.
Who did you say?
I said the War Raiders.
Oh,
I don't know.
You don't know who they are either?
No.
I've
Wow.
only seen a little bit of them myself, but
They're actually for a Fed tag team. I think they're amazing.
See, that's what a
Are
tag team partner does. He bails me out. You know, needed the tag there.
What were they called in NXT though?
Was it War Party? Viking War Party or something like that?
Do they do
Okay,
a
so they
Viking
dropped.
gimmick?
So they find because when they went to what Raw originally,
Yeah,
they were still calling them the Viking something,
The
right?
Viking Experience.
So they're not that anymore.
No, I think they're the Viking Raiders now.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's a cool name.
Oh, Beast
I
of
did-
Viking Experience. It sounds like a Disney ride.
It took them a little while to get over. I think that they could have fixed that right off the bat by bringing John Norden as the Berserker as their manager. It would have made a little bit more sense.
Well, they ain't no Ascension for God's sake. Oh wait.
No. And yeah, let's
John
wish
Norden.
them well in their future endeavors as well. So okay, what about there's a couple guys that I've really enjoyed their heel work lately, but I am going to go with my favorite heel of the year. Was the social justice warrior version of Daniel Bryan. I thought that was fantastic, and I wish they would have kept it going. I wish they would not have killed that off.
Yeah, that's heat. They could have drew money with that.
I'll go
I
with
think
the
so.
Fiend.
And the Fiend would be up there as well. I really like what they've done with that.
I like the
mean,
guy in Impact Wrestling. What's his name? Dark hair. He's a younger guy. He wrestles old school. He doesn't do facial expressions yet. Oh, what is his name?
He's on Impact.
Yeah.
It's like that guy that was in the movie that did that thing with that other guy.
I haven't.
Because I've seen him
I have-
a couple times, and I'm like, this guy kind of knows how to work.
You're not talking about is
Man,
is
'cause
Sammy Callahan still in there? You're not talking about him, are you?
I don't think so.
See, I can't help you out. 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't,
forget
I don't
it.
watch Impact.
The next
haven't
show,
been
I'll
able to
have the
watch it.
name.
I haven't been able to watch it either.
Oh, and Sean Sisk says nobody retires.
Yeah, I seen that. I got a guy asking the question too, but we'll get to that shortly.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I see that. That one guy I will say though, in AEW, Michael J. Freeman or whatever his name is,
MJH or
MJF.
Yeah,
He cut a great heel promo last week,
yeah, that guy's really good.
and it got my attention anyway.
And they're
let's
doing the
see.
promos on their
we
own,
talked about this,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit, but who would be your number one for comeback of the year? And I'm going to go with PCO. I've seen a lot of his matches in Ring of Honor, and just recently won the title, and I think he's been doing a fantastic job in there. And I was glad that they put the title on him.
I'm gonna go with Fandango.
Is he even still around?
I just meant, yeah, actually he is. He's teaming up with his old fashion police partner there.
Oh, they're
Tyler
back
Breeze.
together?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
incredible how quick.
If it was me, I'd probably go with Jericho. I mean, I
Okay.
know it's really not come back, but he went on tour with Fozzy for 2 years after
Yeah.
leaving wrestling again.
Yeah.
And now he comes to AEW. He's a champion. Looks in phenomenal shape for what he's doing. He's a hell of a heel.
Yeah, that's a comeback and a half. There.
Yeah, I think Jericho's great.
Okay.
I'll do Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
Even though they kind of never left in a way,
Right.
I mean, they've been
True.
wrestling.
Right. They
But still,
they
on the-
continued the feud with Midnight Express for all the way up until now.
Yeah, and
when
Dennis
finally
Condry's
the-
feeling better now.
Is he?
Yeah, he was battling cancer. I didn't even know that.
Oh, okay. Bobby's had some health problems too lately,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hopefully those guys will be okay for a while. They did just have that thing to honor Bobby.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. One of my favorites, if not my favorite wrestler of all time. Match of the year. Do you guys have any? We talked about it a little bit, but I'm gonna go with the match with Cody and Dustin. I thought that one actually had some psychology in it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, when I was thinking about it, nothing else really stood out to me. I'm sure there's some other stuff that I saw that I probably would like, but when I was thinking about this, that's the one that really stood out to me.
Trying to remember who Ricochet wound up wrestling this. I don't care. Any match.
AJ
Probably
Styles?
AJ. Yeah, any match that Ricochet is in's match of the year, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
That guy's awesome.
He's been doing a great job.
I'll agree with you on the roads. I mean, I would say the Rock and Roll Express winning the belts, but
The match itself.
but
I mean, that was awesome,
Yeah.
but the match itself was not the best.
the
Them-
Rhodes brothers.
Okay.
I would agree with that because it meant something too. I mean, the match was more of the style that I like, but it meant something. You know, it was
Yeah.
kind of like the big grand opening, if you will. So I agree with that. Yeah.
My next category is Woman of the Year, and I have become a big fan. She's gone. She was only in the very beginning of the year, but I'm going with Ronda Rousey because she did things a little bit different. She looked different. Some people complained that they spent so much time with her, then that is why. But for somebody coming in cold and doing what she did, I give her a ton of credit, and I hope that she comes back at some point. Because still, for the most part, when I watch women's wrestling, at least WWE, they still all look the same to me.
Yeah.
She did.
works hard too.
She
Trains
did. She
hard.
did. And so anyway, she's mine.
I'm going to let you go next because mine's going to surprise you guys.
I don't know if I have one. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, you've probably not seen a whole lot of women's wrestling
Right,
this year.
because
I mean,
whenever it comes on,
I've
pretty
seen
much like
some, but
turn it. You know?
you go get your popcorn.
Well,
Yeah.
my pick is going to be controversial, and some people might look at me a little different for saying it, but I'm going to go with Nyla Rose.
Really. So he probably is not familiar.
No.
Nyla Rose is one of the, I don't want to say one of the first transgender female professional wrestlers out there, but she's one of the first mainstream transgender professional wrestlers out there that has garnered mainstream attention. And the stuff that she's doing in AEW right now is second to none, as far as I'm concerned. They're building her to be a beast, and I can't wait to see her versus Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
Well, how are they going to build the heat for that, though? You know, I mean, it's built-in heat, but
Well,
it's really, it doesn't seem to be though. I mean, when you see her, the crowd doesn't seem to be on her case about that. I mean, they just kind of, I mean, it seems like they've just accepted it.
I hope
it
I hope
is
Kong squashes them.
what it is, but. And I am going to tread really lightly, and
She should
and
really
just
she
move
should
on.
really beat that guy up if she can. I'm serious.
Okay, well, let's get into it a little bit though. Some people are saying that because of that, you know what it is, that's kind of a slap in the face to the women that have worked their way up and have the women's revolution or whatever it was in WWE
So like
a
they're
couple years
taking
ago.
he's taking their spot on the card.
I see people say that, yes.
Okay,
that shouldn't be allowed.
where was the controversy when China was wrestling men in WWE, winning men's quote-unquote titles?
I don't think the controversy is that she's
Right.
China fought.
Oh
a
no,
guy.
I remember. Oh, she looks like a man. She's built like a man. You know, blah blah blah.
But that's different because she wasn't. She was just a
built up woman.
female. You know.
I'm just
yeah,
I'm
I
just
didn't-
trying to play devil's advocate
Okay.
here.
In
because
my
I-
opinion,
Yeah, let's start a conversation.
okay,
with
real
it, you know?
conversation. It's sports entertainment. Do I agree with a male who is transitioning to, or a female playing basketball per se on a collegiate level? No, I don't agree with that. But we're talking about professional sports entertainment at this point in time.
Yeah, I see where you're
Okay,
coming from on that.
so-
Sure.
All right.
I mean, there's things it's a very, very, left thing and right thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's not even that.
Oh, but it is. I mean, because I have friends, personal friends who identify as their opposite gender. You know what I'm saying? And that's good on them if that's what they want to do. But when it comes to professional sports, I don't believe we're seeing in sports now where
Yes.
men who are transitioning to women who are wrestling women on a collegiate level.
Yeah, that's
wrestling, track, everything.
horrible.
And
Right.
Terrible.
and they're
MMA.
blowing them away.
Look at MMA. You know how this is happening now. You got
Yeah.
guys who are transitioning female, who are fighting, genetically.
That's going on in MMA
female.
also. I didn't know.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Okay, I haven't really watched.
Yeah,
it.
because they had the one I can't remember his name, but he had to go overseas and fight because nobody wanted him fighting women over here.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure it'll
I
happen,
didn't even know that.
But
All right.
But for me to see Nyla Rose doing what she's doing,
Well, I can see your point because it's
takes guts.
sports
that's for sure.
entertainment.
sports entertainment. I hate that word, but I was going to say work and I was going to say something else, but I don't like really any of those terms. So, but yeah, so I can see your point as far as that goes.
I'd love to book that angle.
All right,
That'd be
let's get to the question that was asked by Tim Schaefer. Any tips for someone heading towards the end of their career? He says that he is wrapping his up in February and just wants to go out on a good note.
Well, here's the thing: don't say that you're retiring, because
Exactly.
I made that mistake the first time I quit wrestling. I said I was retiring, and then I said it the second time I was quitting wrestling
You're
that
like
I was
Terry
retiring.
Funk.
Yeah, so I just don't say it anymore. Once it's in your blood, it's in your blood for life. It's the worst drug you can ever have. I love it. It's like I say, there's no one. Let's face it. There's people who know what I do for a day job. There is no one in this world who is ever going to ask me for an autograph because I cut them a nice steak. You know what I'm saying? Fact of the matter is, I love the attention, and I love performing. And it's just something that's near and dear to my heart. If you're winding down your career, do it quietly. Don't have that big last match and announce it that this is my big last match, because, when you have 2 or 3 big last matches, the fans eventually don't buy into it anymore. I still got fans coming up to me. Oh, how many more times you going to retire? Well, I didn't say retire this last time. I stepped away from the ring to take care of some personal issues in my life.
What if he's legit? I mean, what would if the person is what was his name? I'm sorry.
It's Fat Tony.
Oh.
Fat Tony Cardi.
Oh, okay. If he's legit, I mean, if he's really retiring, what advice would you give him?
Just what I just said. I mean, because you will never, ever, 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 ever leave this business. If you're sitting outside the ring trying to enjoy a show, fans are going to try to goad you into one last match.
Yeah.
If you're still friends with the promoter, he's going to talk you into one more match. And once you get that one match and you get bit once, the bug starts biting a little harder.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta have that second match. My advice is be true to yourself. If you really, really don't think you're coming back, then.
But did you think you were coming back?
No.
I believe I was at your first. I think it was your first retirement match. Was that the MWO match when you left your boots in the ring?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I was there at that time. I'm sure you thought that was it.
Yeah, I blew my leg out, and I thought for sure, it was circumstances that were beyond my control that was forcing me to leave.
Right.
So I legitimately thought I was done.
Okay.
I was able to rehab my leg, and like I said, once that bug starts biting, I want it back in. Then my second retirement, I still got it. I still got diverticulitis and Crohn's disease. Had to have the surgery where they removed, a good portion of my bowel, amongst other things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought after the match that I had with James Rampage that, the doctor told me if the infection that I had in my bowel at that time would have burst, I would have died. So I announced I was done.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a very religious man, but I'm just going to put it like this. Through the glory of God, my Crohn's disease has regressed. It's not as bad as it was. I do still have the occasional
Fire up.
Yeah. It does double me over, but I'm not currently taking any meds. And, I feel confident I can get to the ring. So that's why I came back. Now, when I stepped away at the beginning of this year, it was to get my life in order. But I never said, hey, this is my last match.
Right.
I may have said, oh, this is the last time you're going to see me for a while.
Okay.
So, just be true to yourself. If you really think you're going to be done, be done. I see you're saying it's surgery related. I wish you luck in that. But if, your surgery goes well, you're going to want to get back into that ring.
Especially that age.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're a young man, you've been traveling quite a bit, and I hate to see you go, but fact of the matter is you're not going to go too far because it'll pull you right back in.
how about maybe you should do like an angle, like a long term where somebody like his partner turns on him or somebody puts him out of action. That way, when he comes back, he's got built-in heat.
Well, see, and that's kind of weird because, like, when I came back the last time, I thought no one was going to remember me.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
And so Fat Tony is the type of character where people are going to remember
Oh,
who
yeah.
Fat
Yeah,
Tony
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's, like I said, that's entirely up to him. It's, up to him to be true to himself and what he really wants to do.
Yeah,
So,
do an injury angle. Put somebody over. Make it like they're, somebody who like retires people.
Now, when you are done in the ring, would you like to? I mean, I know that you ran your own promotion a few years back. Would you consider getting back into that, or would you want to work behind the scenes as maybe like from a creative standpoint, or just training the young guys?
see, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
You're a good booker, though.
And I like doing that, but right now God, don't let these promoters look down on me for saying this, but I really think Michigan's oversaturated with independent wrestling companies again. So
I think wrestling kind of right now is oversaturated as a whole.
yeah. Fact of the matter is, if I was to run shows, I wouldn't want to run right now. I want some of these, to use the term loosely, fly-by-night companies to disappear before I decided to start running.
Okay.
But my immediate plans right now, and I've already talked to a few people about this, is I would like to help the guys that can't help themselves, guys that can't afford to pay to wrestle, but guys who I see a lot of potential in. I'd like to get a ring and charitably take these guys under my wing and
Okay.
try to teach them the right way of the business instead of trying to take shortcuts and eventually hurting themselves or someone else.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean that's your wheelhouse. Ever since I've known you, you've been doing that. One way or another.
yeah. So if anyone knows of a ring someone's getting rid of cheaply or would like to donate, even if it's not in the greatest of shape, but I'm sure I can find guys to help me fix it up.
There's one on Craigslist.
Oh, there's many. on
Yeah, I see him
Craigslist,
pop
but-
up out there every once in a while. Okay. Now we did a similar thing back when we had Ricky Cartier on here, speaking of the Cartiers. And since he is old school Rick Cartier, we did the old school game. But since you are the pretty boy redneck Levi Blue, we're going to do the redneck game.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you two wrestlers, and you're going to tell me who is more of a redneck and why.
Okay.
Let's start right off with Captain Redneck himself, Dick Murdoch,
Okay.
or Trevor Murdoch. Who's the bigger redneck?
It's got to be Captain Redneck. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy is who inspired Trevor Murdoch. I mean, that's the easiest answer to give you. So,
And there's another comeback, Trevor Murdoch. He disappeared forever, right?
he was wrestling
was-
small indie shows.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So
'Cause I
yeah,
thought he dropped off the face of the earth for.
yeah. I hadn't seen him around, but yeah, he's doing a good job too.
Yep.
It was all that training running across Ethiopia, I think. Got him back in shape.
Where you at, Cordy? Where you at?
Dick Murdoch or Trevor Murdoch? Brace.
Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch.
And I, as well, go with Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch. Who is the bigger redneck, Black Bart or Ron Bass?
Ron Bass. I will go with Ron Bass.
You do go with Ron Bass.
Yeah.
I'll go with Black Bart.
Black Bart's an act, man.
I gotta go with Black Bart too. I loved both of those guys, but I gotta go with Black Bart.
Yeah.
He continued that for a while.
Ron Bass's stuff in the Southern promotions was pretty sweet.
Ron
You ever
Bass
get a
would
chance to
bury
watch that
you
stuff.
if you had a chance.
Oh, I know, man. Big boy.
All right, now here's one that you guys might have to think about a little bit. Who's the bigger redneck? Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I knew that name was coming.
Or Dr. D. David Schultz.
Oh, wow.
I'll say Dr. D. David Schultz.
You know, I'm going to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the reason why is, have you seen this TV show he does where he brings celebrities on with them and they go do redneck things and stuff like
I
that?
have not. No.
I haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah. You got to check it out. I can't think of what it's called. It's like Stone Cold. I don't even know what the hell it's called. I've watched it a few different times. He had Fluffy on there, a few others.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty cool show. I dug it.
I think I got to go with Dr. D. Only
I
because
feel like I'm being ganged up on here.
if you go back, he was going to be Stone Cold way before Stone Cold.
Well, he was.
Before he slapped, he was. But they were really going to push it. I mean, they were doing the vignettes where he was at his home, slapping his wife around, yelling at his kids,
Right.
and then he legitimately slaps Stossel, so that kind of put an end to that whole thing.
He's a classic. As is Stone Cold, you know?
Oh, yeah, both of them. Who's the bigger redneck, Dick Slater or Terry Funk?
Ooh.
I'll say Funk.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say Funk, too. I've retired almost as many times as he has.
I don't know. That's a close one, but yeah, I think I'll have to go with Terry too. Terry's in my at least top 5, possibly top 3 of all time. So I got to give him props.
You actually have a top 3 rednecks that you keep like in your back pocket? Or oh, here's my redneck today.
You're my number 1.
Oh, man. God, please don't let him have a picture of me in his pocket.
Who's the bigger redneck? Cowboy James Storm or Jamie Noble?
Oh, Jamie Noble. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Man.
Oh, come on, man. What the heck was that?
Nadia.
Nadia. In the trailer.
Nadia.
Because I haven't watched those guys in like a while. So I'll go with Noble.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got to go with Noble as well.
With the wife beater T-shirt and
James
everything.
Gibson. Jamie Noble, James Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wasn't he wearing, well, at least as James Gibson, he was
And
wearing.
he had the cut-off jeans.
He was wearing the General Lee type. Oh, I think he had the
I don't
trunks.
remember that part.
That might have been when he was in Ring of Honor as
Oh.
James Gibson before he became Jamie Noble in WWE. Another redneck faction. 2 guys from there, the West Texas Rednecks. Who's the bigger redneck, Kurt Hennig or Kendall Windham?
Oh, my gosh.
I'll say
Hell, I say
Kurt
Kendall
Hennig.
Jenner's a bigger redneck than the other 2.
I'll say Kurt Hennig.
What?
Yeah.
I'll go with Kendall Windham just because he's Bass's kid. So
And I say Kurt just
Isn't he
because
Bass's
he's
kid,
an outdoors guy. and-
No, Blackjack's kid.
Blackjack's
Yeah.
kid, that's right.
But I'll go with Kendall too, just for the whole incarceration thing due to the counterfeiting the money.
Kurt outdoorsman. Listen to like country music. So
Rap is crap.
I'll go. Yeah, plus all that. That's solid gold there.
That backfired on them big time, didn't it?
You know what's
Oh,
bad?
well,
Like,
it shouldn't
bringing
have.
those
It
guys-
should have got him over.
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying those guys were supposed to be the heels against those the rap guys,
Oh, yeah.
Master P, and it,
Oh,
and
them
it, and it
meaning
totally
Master
totally
P.
backfired.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember that Master P like originally brought in the I don't even remember the name of them.
Yeah.
But
His
I mean,
group or posse or
Oh,
whatever.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't even remember who was in it now, but
Rap is crap.
yeah, that's why
Oh,
they.
yeah, I
had,
remember the
that's
entire
why-
first deal of that. Yeah, it's stupid.
They got over.
That's why they made that song.
They
They,
got
those
they
over.
guys
put it
got
out on
over.
a CD. They put it out
They
on
did.
cassette.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
they had 2 songs. They had rap is crap, or they had I hate rap. And then I don't remember what the other one was.
Oh,
but
is
yeah,
it
they
called
had
I
like
Hate
they
Rap?
had two of them. Yeah, that one was called I
Oh,
Hate
okay.
Rap.
I
But
don't know
then
the
they
other
had the
one.
other one. I don't remember what it was. All right, who's the bigger redneck? Dusty Rhodes, or you might not even be familiar with this guy, Dirty Rhodes.
What the hell's Dirty
I will
Rhodes?
say,
He was a Memphis special.
I'll say Dirty Roads just because of more like the real background, background. You know.
All right.
I gotta go with Dusty because I don't know who the hell Dirty Rhodes is.
They should have brought. What I think they should have brought Dirty Rhodes in as the what was the mask gimmick that Dusty always
Midnight
brought back?
Rider.
I think they should have brought him in and gone against Dusty as him. At one
I know,
point.
and he did a
he
great
had the
job.
same physique. Looked a lot like him.
Yeah.
I
think he could punch
obviously I
better
never
than
saw
Dusty,
him,
though.
Some, but yeah, I would have to go with him because I'm pretty sure he was a legitimate redneck.
Yeah, Dusty wasn't even. I mean, Dusty was like upper middle class, lived on the nice side of town, you know, and his whole gimmick is
Right.
raised son of a plumber.
Exactly.
Well, I guess any man whose mama would name him Dirty. I guess.
Who's the bigger redneck, Skinner or Bray Wyatt?
Oh, Skinner. I love Skinner. That guy was awesome.
I agree.
He was. That was a good gimmick. Yeah,
I loved the Skinner gimmick. But
I'll say Skinner too.
I go with Skinner as well. Um,
It's Bray Wyatt. That's a good. That was a good gimmick too.
That was a good gimmick
it is, but-
in NXT. When it came over to the Fed and they muddled it up, I hated it. So
yeah, they didn't handle that right.
now I do like Bray's Pee Wee's Playhouse thing that he's got going on right now.
Yeah, I
But
do too.
I don't care for the Fiend so much.
You really don't?
I really don't.
I do, but it can only go so far, in my opinion. I mean, it can't have staying power. It can't have
I
legs.
can't buy into a guy who wrestles in a Halloween mask. I know, I get it, but I can't. I just don't like it.
Really.
You know,
I am shocked that they do the whole thing with. Do they play the music the whole time? I know they turn everything red.
right.
I mean, I'm surprised that they've gone that far with it.
Does he still do the walk backwards?
Honestly, I've only seen. I think I've only saw them. I don't even
Yeah,
know
he did it.
if
Oh,
I.
okay.
So he's still doing that as
Yeah.
the Fiend.
Because Fred Blassie used to do that.
He did.
Different though.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
He would do it. He would do it like on his head. He would put his head back and not
Just
use
to
his
show
hand.
his like old school strength.
No, this
his
was when he
neck
was
strength?
younger. It was like part of his gimmick.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that's an old school way to show your neck strength, to like roll on your head like that. Is that what he was doing?
No,
or-
it was like during the match, like he would be away from the corner.
Okay.
Or he would go under somebody's legs. Like he would just tilt his head back and then arch his body up and then run backwards. But his head he'd be rubbing his head on the mat. It was the weirdest looking thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's
I've never
old,
seen that.
old school, man.
But see, I always hated gimmicks like the Halloween mask. Like, remember when the Undertaker had like the skull looking type mask?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kane with his big red, a welder's mask. I didn't care for that.
Oh, really? You
You
didn't
can even
like-
go
you
back
didn't like
so
that?
far. No, the Yeti. All,
Oh, God,
all that
the
crap.
Yeti.
The Nightmare Freddy's and all
Jason
that.
and Freddy. Yeah, I could never buy into that stuff. So, the Fiend, when he came out, I thought the mask was really cool. I just thought that maybe if he would take off the mask and transition into another character, a la Mankind type of deal,
Right.
But, I'm not a writer, so.
I'll just throw a couple more out here. Who's the bigger redneck? Jimmy Jack Funk or Jimmy Wang Yang?
Jimmy Jack Funk.
Okay, Jimmy Wang Yang, who is that like the
The
Chinese
Asian
rapper
cowboy.
or something?
He's
Yeah,
the
it was
Asian cowboy.
man.
No,
What are you
I'll go
talking
with
about?
Jimmy Jack Funk.
Thank you.
Although cowboys are big in Japan, though.
I will go with Jimmy Jack Funk as well. And I just recently watched some of his stuff, and what an underrated guy. And I'm surprised when he left there, he kept that gimmick. I'm surprised he didn't turn back to Jesse Barr.
Yeah.
But I mean, he went to Global.
Jesse
he had some
Barr.
great-
Wasn't he the juicer in WCW?
Oh, it was Art Bar.
That's
Oh, that
Art
was Art
Bar.
Bar. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
And one more, I'll just throw out, who's the bigger redneck, Hillbilly Jim or the Mighty Wilbur?
You're talking Mighty Wilbur from like the 50s?
No, he was like Incubus, I want to say, in Kevin Sullivan's Army, and then they turned him into in the Dark Army, and then they turned him into like a hillbilly guy with Paul Jones.
Yeah.
Paul Jones was a heel manager. Mighty Wilbur still wanted to shake everybody's hand, so Paul Jones used to like freak out. He called Paul Jones Puddinhead.
Yeah.
Paul Jones would like have a conniption.
I always loved Hillbilly Jim, so I gotta go with Jim.
Mighty Wilbur, one of your favorites at one point.
He was pretty big in England under a different gimmick. I'll say Hillbilly Jim.
I'll go with Hillbilly Jim too.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again, Levi Blue, for being our 1-year anniversary guest. Any parting words before we got to go?
Not really. I mean, you guys want to check out the shows I got coming up, go to my Facebook page. It's Levi Blue. I think I ticked off a few other Levi Blues out there when I actually got that Facebook name,
Oh, so you don't have to put any gimmicks. Yeah, it's just regular Levi.
It's just regular Levi Blue. I was one of the Facebook pooping founders, going to the bathroom with, there we go. Go check out an indie show, for God's sakes. I mean, you want good entertainment for your dollar. A lot of times you can't even go to the movie, family of 4, for the price that you can go to a independent wrestling show.
True.
And these guys go out there.
I agree.
They're your future WWE, AEW, ROH, Impact superstars. These guys are really trying to shine for you. Like I said, they're trying to earn their spot. They want that viral moment, and it's up to you, the fans, to make this happen for them.
Yes.
You got guys out there right now that are the future. I'm looking at MM3, who's incredible. The Dread King Logan, Eric Ely, Billy Ray Daniels. The list goes on and on and on.
Just let me throw one out there that really impressed me at the Fowler Pro show, and that is Heidi Katrina.
Heidi Katrina. Oh, yeah, you got the ladies out there, busting it too. Fact of the matter is, if you want to be a pro wrestler yourself, I hope you guys don't mind plugging the House of Truth. But check out the House of Truth, probably one of the #1 training facilities in Michigan. Don't get me wrong, there's others. You got the PPW training facility in Flint. You got Eric Breeden, the electric company.
And those guys have been around for a while.
Yeah,
too.
the list goes on and on as to how many pro wrestling schools are out there. So if you want to be a wrestler, you want to do what I do what these guys are doing, go out there, do it right, and go out there and make a name for yourself, and find your viral moment.
Yeah, yeah. Brace Beemer, any parting words?
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year.
Oh, God,
Everybody
that is coming up, isn't it?
I know, I forgot all about it.
All right. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Levi, thanks for coming on, and Mad Dog, fantastic job as usual. And that's an interesting shirt there. I've never seen that one before. The Foley shirt.
I don't even remember where I got it.
Hey, who's the bigger redneck? Levi Blue or Backwoods Bam?
I was going to throw that out there. I forgot.
Levi Blue.
That is a discussion for another time.
So told you I've been getting ganged up on.
All right. Keep checking the Butch Blood Facebook page. We possibly are going to get another show in before the end of the year, but don't hold your breath. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you next time on Wrestling Tonight.
Yeah.
A sample of the marvelous freak you'll see for the price of a small dime. You get the whole show now. You hurry, hurry, hurry.
Come into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. I got many